The Lenape Indians by Melissa, Taylor, Jason, and Jarad. Please move on to the next slide. How long the religion has been around.
It is difficult to determine the origin of the Lenape religion, though it could have dated back in some form as long as 15,000 years ago, and certainly existed pre-European contact.
Please move on to the next slide. Material aspects.
The most important ceremonies of the Lenape, with many significant physical materials that contribute to the ceremony. One of these is the big house, which is specified to be 40 feet long from east to west, has a height of 14 feet, a width of 24.5 feet, and is built of rough logs. Inside there are carvings of human faces facing east and west, and smaller faces on each of the 6 support posts, and even smaller carvings on the 4 doorposts. The right side of each face is painted red and the left black. The faces are called mising. The big house is used only for this ceremony. Among other materials significant in the ceremony are a dried deerskin drum called puunigun, beat by the taligunik, venison for the feast provided by the chief hunter, 20-gallon kettle for preparing hominy, a cornbush food, fire made from a fire drill, which is pure as it is made without white man's matches, turkey wing brushes used by women to sweep the floor, a rattle made of a land tortoise shell, mussel shells from the river used as spoons, sacred herb to be sacrificed, tobacco to smoke, chewing tobacco for hunters, officers of the ceremony. 2 drumsticks carved with small humans' heads, a male and a female, replaced sticks marked with a cross in the later days of the ceremony. 12 prayer sticks, 6 plain and 6 striped. Ashes from each night fire symbolically brought out of the big house through the west door. On Women's Night, cedar leaves are burned, and the women paint each other with red paint and grease from a small bark dish. 2 or 3 beads are distributed from a wooden bowl to everyone at the conclusion of the ceremony. The hunters who kill the deer leave with the skin of the deer they killed.
Please move on to the next slide.
General beliefs and rituals of the Lenape. The Lenape believe in spirits, Manitou, that inhabit our world. The Great Spirit, Kishlemunkong, created the world, and evil spirits, Manituwak, are now responsible for sickness and death in the world. Because these spirits that are present in our physical world, can be either helpful or harmful, a ritual is performed by the Lenape where people leave spirit favors or small offerings in places where spirits are thought to live, near large trees, waterfalls, rocks, etc. Another ceremony that occurs in the Lenape is when a leader of the tribe impersonates a spirit named Mesingwe, otherwise known as masked spirit, masked being, spirit face, and more. Mesingwe is one of the most important spirits in the Lenape because he is responsible for watching over and caring for all animals and beings in the forest. Mesingwe is believed to roam the woods riding on the back of a deer. On special occasions, he is called on the center of the village to frighten young children for acts of disobedience.
Please move on to the next slide.
Rituals of the Lenape and the importance of tobacco. Both the tobacco and the pipes used for smoking are thought to be sacred in Lenape culture. Tobacco smoke is used as an offering to spirits. Sometimes tobacco is used as incense, tossed into the fire as a call for help from a spirit. Tobacco smoke is also used by shamans in the community as a way to drive away sickness from a Lenape person's body. Leaders of the Lenape will also smoke tobacco before making important decisions that affect the community, like trading, declaring war, or declaring peace with other nations.
Please move on to the next slide.
Vision Quest. As a ritual to mark the transition to adulthood, boys and sometimes girls would go out into the woods alone for many days to fast and dream. At this time, they are meant to receive a special power that will enable them to have visions of their guardian spirit. This spirit would take the form of animals or things found in nature, and they would protect the person for life. Click the link to view more about Vision Quest.
Please move on to the next slide.
Lenape religion compared to other religions. Most Native American tribes had created their own unique religions, many of which contained creation myths, which were stories of spirit of all things and supernatural beings that interacted with the material world. No tribe has the same religion because each tribe creates their own reasoning for their existence, but they can seem similar in traits given to animals or the supernatural. Sacraments also differ depending on which part of the country the tribe resides. There were two groups of the Lenape, the Munsee, north of the Raritan River in the Delaware Water Gap, and the Umami, south of those water bodies. These two shared the same language, but were spoken in different dialects. The Lenape language was part of the Eastern Algonquian languages. The creation story of the Lenape says that an all-knowing creator was in infinite space and he had a vision. The vision showed everything that can be found in the natural world. He realized that the more he thought, the more he could create and bring into being, so he did just that. He gave spirit to rock, wind, fire, and water. These spirits were given jobs to give blessings to the world, fertility, good harvest, harmony, etc. The Creator also saw in the visions that there was opposites. He created light and dark, good and evil, male and female. The evil spirit created discourse, and the good spirits had to fight it off. This caused destruction that swallowed the earth and water. A new earth was created from mud from the old world, which was placed on a turtle's back. From there it grew to be an enormous earth. Many of the creation stories from the Nanacoke, Piscataway, and Shawnee and Mohican tribes are similar. They share the basis of an empty world that an all-knowing divine spirit filled or creates. The stories in the Lenape-Hoking region are variations of the world coming from a turtle's back. The pure originality of each Native American religion led to its loss when Europeans arrived, because each religion had only a few thousand followers, or less. When the Europeans arrived to Lenape-Hoking and brought disease, war, and culture, the natives were crushed and not given a chance to show the importance of earth to their religion. As a result, many were killed and their culture struggled to go on. A tradition with no written text needs many elders and young people to transfer knowledge. The Bible, however, was seen as a concrete primary source for conquest by Europeans. Due to Christianity being an established religion that had hundreds of thousands of followers, the European domination of North America left a mark of Christianity after wiping out the other less common religions. If Europeans never came and left the Americas to the natives, what would have happened? Without massacres and suppression of culture, would Native American religions be more prominent today? The most dominant religion in America today is Christianity. Native American religions differ in that there is no prophet to deliver God's will, but everyone is responsible for interacting with the spirit world and preserving peace in the universe.
Please move on to the next slide. Important historical dates. In 1632, the chief of the Lenape was murdered. This caused the Lenape to retaliate and destroy the Dutch fortress of Swandonell in Delaware. This is a picture of the Lenape chief. In 1638, the Swedish and Finnish people established the New Sweden in the Lenape territory. The Lenape were also known as the Delaware Indians, and this is a photo depicting their fort in New Sweden. In 1643, the slaughter at Pavonia occurred. The general told his soldiers to spare the women and children, but they were not spared, and 11 Iroquois Nation tribes banded together to retaliate. In 1645, a truce was made after the Pavonia slaughter. This is not a picture of them making a truce, however it does depict a harmonious moment between the Swedish men and the Lenape people. Please move on to the next slide. In 1664, the English took control of the Lenape land from the Dutch. In 1682, the Lenape made a peace treaty with William Penn. This is a picture depicting the peace treaty. In 1748, the Europeans took the Nanatoke, which is another Native American tribe, to flee their homeland in New Jersey, Delaware, Oklahoma, and Canada. Many of these fleeing Native Americans became part of the Lenape tribes and assimilated into the Lenape lifestyle. In 1755, the French and Indian War occurred, and the Lenape took the side of the French. Please move on to the next slide. In 1758, the New Jersey governor and Lenape leader met to come to an agreement. Also in 1758, the New Jersey Assembly created the Brotherton Reservation for the Native Americans. However, many refused to move onto the reservation. In 1801, it was decided to sell the reservation and give the proceeds to the remaining tribe members. From 1816 to 1820, the Gouldtown Church Community for the Lenape people was established in Cumberland County, New Jersey. This photo depicts where Cumberland County is in relation to the state of New Jersey as a whole. Please move on to the next slide. In 1877, a school for strictly Lenape and Nancoke children was built. This is a photo of a crest of a modern-day high school that identifies with the Lenape tribe. However, they are not solely Lenape descent. In 1892, the state of New Jersey officially recognized the Nanacoke Lenni Lenape Indian tribe and called on Congress to do the same. Finally, in 2000, the U.S. Census Bureau listed Cumberland County, New Jersey as Nancoke Lenni Lenape Indian Statistical Area. Please move on to the next slide.
The modern Lenape. Today, most Lenape live in Oklahoma and Canada, and there are 2 communities that live in Oklahoma. Some tribal elders still speak the native Delaware language. Tribal government consists of a chairman, assistant chairman, and 3 councilmen. Lenape children still learn the art and oral traditions that represent their history of their culture, though now many children have a mixed curriculum of modern schooling and Lenape culture.